Hi, everybody. Cohh here with another thoughts video, this time on Sons of the Forest. Sons of the Forest is the sequel to The Forest, which is a game that I really enjoyed playing. I played it in early access. I played it again later on after some major patches, and then I played it a last time, relatively recently, to kind of get everything caught up for the new release of Sons of the Forest, which happened in early access this year. I loved The Forest, and frankly, The Forest, the original game, is one of the success stories of an early access product. It started as basically like just a collection of half-finished ideas, and by the time we got to the end of it, it was a fully fledged game with its own world, its own lore. It was pretty awesome, and I really enjoyed it. So when I heard about Sons of the Forest, I was very excited, and as you guys know, I dived into it and it happened. So what are my thoughts on Sons of the Forest? Sons of the Forest is not done, as we know, and it's a little less complete than I thought. Now, it is much more complete than the original Forest early access, but that game entered early access kind of like intentionally, where this one was kind of dropped on us in early access so the devs didn't have to push back the full release any longer. Things that are good. The world is beautiful. The new inventory system is great. The AI companion is actually super useful, and please understand, he can die. If you see him go down and you attack him with your own weapon, you will kill him. This is a heads up. If he goes down, you'll see a little hold E to revive him thing. Make sure you do that and don't do any combat near him under that point. If you accidentally hit him when he is in down state, he's gone forever. He is very useful as a solo player. He would collect all sorts of stuff for us. He can actually build some things. He can go fishing, and he seemed to work. We never had to babysit him at any point. I was very impressed by the Kevin NPC. He was an excellent addition to a solo survival game, and he definitely helped me build my little rudimentary base at the beginning. Was really good. So anyway, going back to the beginning, beautiful game. Kevin is awesome. The new inventory system is good. Lots of new items. There is his name is Kevin, not Kelvin. It's Kevin. There's a GPA now, a GPS that lets you kind of maneuver around the world. I'm actually a little torn on that. It makes the game very easy, as you know where pretty much all the major caves are, and you know where all the major story locations are right off the bat. That is a big departure from Forest 1. Forest 1, you were just dropped in a forest, and you had no idea what was going on. You didn't know where to go. You didn't know what to do. You didn't know what you were looking for. And frankly, that was kind of where a lot of the magic of that game came from. So I honestly kind of wonder and think that they may consider moving the GPS to a later part of the game, which I know is probably a little controversial, but I think it may be the kind of thing where maybe as the helicopter's going down, you see the GPS go out of your hand, and maybe you have a trigger, a beeping to it. But I will say that knowing exactly where I needed to go and what I needed to do right at the beginning of the game completely changed the feeling of this game from the first one. There are some cool new mechanics in this game. There are some beautiful environments, both above and underground. There's new enemies, which are fun and entertaining, and on hard mode, they do hit like a truck. There were a couple cheap deaths, but most of my deaths were because I was bad at games, which we all know I am. That's pretty on brand. And overall, now that I've rolled the credits, I will say that I have two takeaways. One, the game is easier for a variety of reasons. Kind of similar to the first game, there is no real need or reason to build the base. I hope they improve on that. There's also no fast traveling system, and the world is 4 times bigger. So that makes having a base even less of a kind of thing to do, because you're literally spending so much time just traveling between 2 locations. As a shout out, I do hope they add some kind of fast travel system to at least let you go to your base. I think that would be very cool. And then a storage mechanic to let you store more things. I also will say there seems to be increasingly more items in this game. When I was doing my kind of, when I went into exploration mode and kind of left my base near permanently, I was never really low on anything. There are tons and tons and tons of items. I feel like definitely, at least on the hardest difficulty, maybe reel that back in a little bit, maybe make items a bit more rare. Now, of course, there is the important thing to mention that there is a known bug where locations and things respawn. But I definitely got to the point endgame where I would see a bunch of crates and not feel any excitement because I knew that they contained probably 90 to 95% of the items that I was full on. And that feeling kind of sucks. In a game that's so based on finding loot and getting loot, it's really unfortunate when all of your resources are capped and you're just kind of like, like it's not, that's not a good feeling. So I feel like it should be way more encouraging to the player to need to use items, to maybe on survival drop how much food and water gives you so you're forced to use more, make it more rare. You know, every time I opened a container thing there were 2 items, maybe make that 1. You know, just little changes to kind of more balance the intake of loot, because I felt like if you were Hi Asher. I feel like that if you were to spreadsheet my playthrough, my intake on items significantly outweighed my usage of items. So that definitely needs some balancing. I do want to say, without any spoilers, do not play this game if you are looking for a cogent story experience. If you played The Forest, especially in its most recent state, and you were like, this is cool, I like how it came together at the end, this was great and kind of made sense, that was fun, wait to play Sons of the Forest. Right now, you can kind of see a light at the end of the tunnel. You can kind of make some assumptions that may make things make sense, but they have stated clearly, if you look on their Steam page, that one of the things they're going to be adding in as EA continues is more lore, and they're going to flesh that stuff out. I would recommend waiting for that if you are interested for your story experience. The building system is great. They put in a new building system. You can also use the old building system. There's this new snap system that I feel is a huge step forward for the survival genre as a whole. It's more creative. It's more expressive. It's super cool. The world is beautiful to explore. The enemies are cool. If you want to play this game just to enjoy the forest sandbox, it absolutely is worth that right now. It runs well. I almost had no crashes. Make sure to save your game often. But it was good. It works pretty damn well. But again, it is EA. So there's some major stuff missing. You can't hotkey items. There are some bugs. You know, everything respawns when you reload a game. There's, you know, it's an early access game. It's an early access game. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, this has been a very long thoughts video because I've had a lot of thoughts in this game. Sons of the Forest, pretty solid. I feel like it is a good step forward for the Forest franchise as a whole. I am definitely playing this game again when they finish it because I want to see their vision. This is clearly not their vision. This is clearly, I mean, the ending was just confusing because I felt like the ending was basically a 30-piece puzzle where we were missing 20 of the pieces. And I think that's what they're going to be putting in as EA continues. I hope it is, because again, I'd like to see this game realize its potential because it has so many fundamentally awesome parts, from how beautiful it is, the building system, the looting, the world. There was some kind of cool AI stuff that happened with the tribes, but I'm sure they're going to expand on that. And yeah, that's about it. For $30, it's not a bad price, especially if you plan on checking out the building system, especially if you don't plan on just beelining the main story. I think this is a large, big island to explore, and I certainly got my money out of it. If you are one of those players that's just going to buy the game and beeline the main story, probably not worth it for you right now. Give it a little more time. If you're the kind of player that wants to go in, explore the world, find everything, build a little base, maybe build a big base, it's probably an okay time to pick it up now. All right. Those are my very expanded thoughts on The Forest. As always, I appreciate you watching. If you're on YouTube, hi. Would love for you to stop by twitch.tv/CohhCarnage. We'd love to say hi to you folks. And as always, feel free to leave any comments here with any of your stuff as well. All right. See you guys later. Thanks for being here.